Well, it scares me to think so, but I feel that it will happen in some places. There's already, China is the first country that managed to bring their digital currency. They're called CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. This is the official term. They're basically, they took the idea of blockchain and cryptocurrencies, but of course, as governments go, they want things to be centralized. They want to have the control. So as the central banks of governments are controlling the official currencies of these countries, they decided that they're going to have a digital currency that will be an alternative to Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, but it will be issued by their central banks, and it will be the alternative, the absolute digital version of their paper money. And this is actually very scary. I am very much against it, because now we're talking about a digital, again, we're going to have a blockchain, so we're going to have a record of all of these transactions that are happening. And this time, unlike Bitcoin and many of the other cryptocurrencies, this time is not going to be a decentralized blockchain. It's going to be a centralized, so it will still be under the control of a government, meaning that all of the things that governments are doing when they decide to censor someone, they can still do that. And this time it will be much easier, because with paper money, cash, you cannot stop me from having it in my pocket and, you know, going. And let's say I'm the president of Catalonia, who is, which is Catalonia is in Spain. It is a region in Spain. They don't believe that they belong to Spain. They wanted to separate. They had their own president who was leading the separation movement. And the Spanish government really didn't like that. So they basically accused him of being a traitor, whatever they did. And they froze all of his accounts. They froze, pretty much all of his money and everything. He went in exile. And this is what, I mean, I'm giving you an example with someone who is a politician here, but this happens to people who are also not politicians. Just anyone who is inconvenient, they can really censor them like that. And this is why Bitcoin is so important, because it's censorship resistant. Nobody can stop me from sending you Bitcoin, and there's no government that can control this. So with the central bank digital currencies that are replacing cash, they're going to have all of that power even easier now, because you're not going to have cash anymore, right? It's not going to happen yet, but in the future, sooner or later, it will happen. And when you get to that point, first of all, every transaction will be traceable and recorded. So there's no more this kind of thing of, you do me a favor and I pay you $10 cash in hand and you don't report it to the tax office because it's not really a big thing for you. Or maybe I sold a book on Amazon, it's my old book or something, so I don't report it as a taxable event. But now that everything is being recorded, everyone knows that this transaction happened. So this is good for governments, not so good for personal freedom and liberty. And more importantly, something happens and I want to, to use my cash in a way that the government doesn't approve, and I'm not able to because it's not cash anymore, it's all digital. For instance, in China, people who are really wealthy are being prevented for exporting their wealth abroad. They cannot move more than, now I can't remember what is the figure. I don't know whether it was $10,000 or 100, maybe $100,000. They're not allowed to move more than $100,000 out of China. So with cryptocurrency, with a non-censorship or censorship resistant, I should say, cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, they can do that. They will not be able to do that with the digital currency of China that is currently already being tested. So the second country that started now testing is India. I believe Cambodia already has a central bank digital currency. Russia is working on one. Venezuela has the petrol, which is kind of their version of it. So we are getting there. Sooner or later, we are going to see more and more of this happening. And it's probably going to take a long time. I don't see it happening very quickly, maybe 10 years at least. But when it happens and when it becomes the norm, I'm going to be quite worried about personal liberty and freedom. When everything is digital, it's so much easier to stop it. You see how accounts, let's say you have a PayPal account or something, and there is a transaction or something that looks suspicious to them, they can immediately freeze your account. And then you have to start going through a lengthy process of proving stuff and claiming and, whatever, in order to actually unlock money that is yours. Yeah. And when all of the money is digital, this can happen so easily. And then where is your protection? You don't have it right now. My father, for instance, he's a bit older, of course, older generation. He doesn't trust the banks, and he's got money in the banks, but he's got quite a big chunk of money in cash in his, in his flat. So that is no longer going to be an option. So if you're an older person and you have some stash and you're worried about someone hacking you or something happening and, your money being frozen, how are you going to safeguard it when it's all going to be digital and it's all going to be just digits on the screen and someone can freeze it the way, I just explained? It's not good.